Hello, welcome back to another video of the Tokusatsu Network here on the YouTube space in Tokyo. I am Kuni.
Hello, I'm Tom Constantine.
And this time we are revisiting the second Heisei Rider movie, Kamen Ryuki episode final. Now let's give some context about it. Episode final, why is it called like that? Because it came out actually before the series ended.
Yes.
So the catchphrase, or the catch copy of the movie was showing you the finale before the TV series. As if they were competing or something.
Despite only being 3/5 of the way through the TV show, they advertise it as that.
As the episode final. Not final episode, episode final.
Yes, because that sounds cooler for some reason. So as you know, it's not actually the final episode. It's a kind of a parallel world version of it. But because Ryuki deals a lot with repeating time, and you could argue that the different episodes and the movies and the specials all are actually just different time.
No, it's a very interesting exercise to play what if a number of times, and I think this series allows to that, and I think they did a number of times. The Blade movie also does that. They theorize about what would have happened if something different went.
Yes, that's true. But what's also interesting is that even after the film premiered, they stayed very quiet about the show and the movie, because they didn't kind of want to imply that this isn't how the show is going to end, but they also didn't want to acknowledge that no, this isn't how the show
a whole bunch of revelations were made in this movie about how characters end up.
Yes, but they don't actually in the TV show, which is better, because it would be boring just to watch them redoing the TV show. The main writer for the movie is Toshiki Inoue, once again, who worked on Project G4. He did a few episodes of the TV show, but he wasn't the head writer. He was the head writer in Agito. After the TV show finished, producer Shudakura, said in an interview that this is Inoue's ending if he was to do the TV show, and the TV show is the writer's, Kobayashi's version. Even when they were working on this, he specifically said to Kobayashi, you don't need to read the script. Like, it's okay for you to not know what happens here, because she would do something completely different. Which is cool.
It's very interesting to see the different styles.
Generally what happens is, to the magazines like Uchusen and Hyper Hobby, they send out the movie scripts to tell them what's going to happen, but they sent them the script with the second half of the movie cut out.
So not even them had the...
Yes, they didn't want even those guys to know. Ryuga, he is basically the black version of Ryuki, the mirror world version. They didn't tell anybody whose secret identity was. If you watch the trailer, you can go on YouTube and look up the trailer for the movie. It's on Toei's channel, and there's only, I think, like one shot of Ryuga, and you don't know who it is until you watch it.
But I mean, was it obvious to you? I mean, would it have been? It has to be in retrospect. Would it have been obvious? Because I saw it. Well, mirror world, Ryuki, identical except it's black. So, well,
at that point in the TV show, maybe not, because there weren't other writers that appeared like Ryuki. I think we're looking back on it now, knowing it. It's either that's obvious, but maybe at the time
it wasn't that obvious.
Yeah, maybe that that trope wasn't particularly as popular as it is now. Let's start off. How did you feel about revisiting this? When was the last time you watched it?
More than 5 years, definitely.
More than 5 years.
Yeah.
For me, it's 3 months, because I watched it 3 months ago. Because it came up on Netflix, on Japanese Netflix, so I watched it on there. Yeah, I actually think I liked it better now, for some reason. Because I think at the time, maybe I watched it and was like, oh, Ryuki's just like a dark, edgy version of Ryuki. And then I watched it again, and I was like, actually, I quite like this. Kamen Rider Femme, I like her a lot more the second time around, maybe because I'm older.
It's very like that. I mean, I think depending on how old you are, the way you see the series it changes. I think that's a very important aspect.
I also think maybe when I watched the TV show, I identified with Shinji a lot. Of like, no, don't fight, don't fight. Yeah, now watching it, I'm like, probably Knight. Like,
because they were polar opposites. I mean, it's like Knight had a very specific reason to fight. That's something that I have never been able to understand in a character, when they have a single motive.
I think most of the main characters would help people if they were in need. But Ryuki would dive in front of them to stop them from being hurt.
And he had a very strong moral fiber.
Yes, he was actually doing it for a relatively good reason.
Yeah.
Some of them would do it for money.
For fun, like a friend, Asakura.
Well, Fem was doing it because she wanted revenge. It was very selfish reasons. Asakura was just because he was a psychopath and loved killing people. So it was kind of like getting paid for doing a hobby. So Zelda is doing it because he's got a tumor in his brain or cancer.
Or something like cancer. He has cancer. He wants to be cured.
I can't remember if they actually specifically named it as cancer, but it was pretty much...
It's a deadly... Well, he's terminally diseased and he wants to live.
Yeah, and Knight is doing it because he wants to save his girlfriend, who's deadly sick and in the hospital, and Shinji just wants to stop everybody from fighting. There's a lot of fun characters in there. A lot of selfish, a lot of people, but specifically in this, for reasons that become apparent when you watch it, the Rider War has now been shortened to 3 days. Only one man can be left standing, or woman. She doesn't know she dies. Everybody died in that film. So when people say like, oh, she was the first Kamen Rider and she died, it's like everybody but 2 people died. And it ends with them pretty much going off to die.
In the end, a suicide attack, so...
That's a harsh ending. But we'll get back to that. What about the film overall? I really like the film.
Me too, me too.
The movie starts off with everybody's fighting different monsters. Fem makes her awesome entrance. Like jumping through the glass.
As a Kamen Rider, she's great. I mean, she's not... She's well designed. She has very cool scenes. The fighting style with the rapier-like thing is really interesting, really fun to see.
There's one point where she shoves it in a monster's mouth and then gets out the card and...
That was really cool.
That was really cool. She was only 14 at the time when she filmed that.
14?
She's 14 years old. Or 15. Maybe I'm getting it wrong.
Yeah.
Because before...
15, something like that.
Or she was 16, because she did Robocon before that. The Moire Robocon. The show that kind of replaced Metal Heroes.
Don't talk about... I mean, I like Robocon.
But then got replaced by Cougar, so... Yeah, I like her character a lot. She's, not exactly nice. They could have made her like a sweet, innocent girl or something really stereotypical, but they actually made her a pretty interesting...
It's not about character, yeah. I mean, it's...
She's trying to get revenge for her sister's murderer, which is pretty awesome way to
that and
join the Rider fight.
For some reason, she has her in a cryogenic storage facility.
Oh, she's in the morgue. Yeah. Forgot about that.
That was weird.
I really liked that when her and Shinji went on that kind of date in the amusement park, and when they're on the roller coaster ride, she's screaming like, yeah, this is fun, and Shinji's like, rah, screaming. And I read in an interview with her that it was actually the complete opposite in real life, that she hates roller coasters
and he
liked it. So they both had to pretend either way. But as they were going up and stuff, he would like, come on, we're going on a roller coaster.
Because I would have been terrified. I hate roller coasters.
One of the best parts of the opening is definitely when the logo appears.
I don't know why that looks so pretty.
It looks so good, doesn't it?
But why?
Like,
why
did the logo look that good?
I watched it on my phone.
Yeah.
And I thought, this looks nice. Why does it look so nice?
It looks really, really good.
I don't know what, but yeah.
Because it's the music, it's the build up to it, all the different footage of the characters and the way that it spins around. Because they do it in the it's in the show as well, but like for some reason the one in the movie just looks beautiful. This all then comes together about halfway through the movie, where 5 riders fight each other in arguably just one of Ryuki's probably best scenes overall. In general, that was great fun to watch. It's so well executed, interesting. The camera movements, the lighting in the building, the amount of explosions, and just the music is so good. Kanzaki gathers them in this. Yes, when he gets church, I think. Yes, when he gets Asakura, he's busy beating up some folks, and one of them is Gills' actor. So even in another Rider show, he still gets beaten up. I'm guessing they just did it on purpose. Like, definitely. He's had it rough with, and why not? Yeah, and some of the other Agito actors appear as well in the film. Pretty much they all do. They all naughty. Yeah, but that's the one that always makes me laugh because I just poor Gills. He gathers them because he's telling them you've got 3 days to do the Rider War. But he gathers them because he's decided he cannot wait any longer, right? Well, yes. That and that other thing about Yui. yes, the reason he gathers them and says 3 days is because Yui is going to have her 20th birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And on the 20th birthday, she is going to die. Because back in the day, she went to the mirror world, met her mirror other self, stayed there too long, couldn't go back, mirror world self, gave her the life force, went back to there, said, you can only live until you're 20 years old and then you're going to die. And what's kind of ironic, and I do like about the film, is Shinji was meant to meet her. He said, oh, we'll meet the next day, we'll go to the park. And because it was raining, he didn't go. So she hanged out with that girl instead. If Shinji had gone and met her at the park, she would never have gone there. None of the ride or war would have ever happened.
Mm-hmm.
And Shinji, the one who's the biggest pacifist, trying to stop everybody from fighting, ironically is the person who starts the war in the first place.
No, that's something that they don't normally do, which is not only changing the path of the story as it progresses, but they retconned it. Now the origin of the problem seems to come out of somewhere else, and Shinji realizes that it's me who did it.
Yes, non-action pacifism does have consequences as well.
It's a very interesting approach to that.
Yes.
Non-action also brings bad consequences sometimes.
There is a lot of good writing in this
Yeah.
film. There's some really good points in there. I do, as we said earlier, this is Inoue's version if he had done the TV show. I can totally see like how this would like episodes leading up towards the climactic end, and he would have brought these kind of things out. It then flashes back to the first scene. They're fighting, and Fem and Asakura are fighting. And she's doing not so well. He's just about to deliver the final blow, and then Ryuka turns up.
Ryuka,
which was the first name for Ryuki in the planning stages.
And that's why they used it for this. It's a very cool, dark, gritty name.
Yes, and for Ryuki, because I've drawn the kanji here.
Oh yes, please, I appreciate that.
We've got this is the dragon kanji, and then knight. But for Ryuga, it's the dragon kanji and kiba for fang.
Yeah, you made me reminded of this on another series, another franchise of a different golden knight armor thing. Ryuga appears out of nowhere, attacks actually Asakura instead of Fam.
Yeah, destroys the Avant monster.
Ah, yeah, that freakish thing. I never liked that thing.
The Trinity thing.
Yeah. It looks horrible.
I didn't like it that much either. But whatever. It served its function, the Chimera type thing. And only upon rewatching this time, I realised that his suit, they kind of digitally made it duller.
Well, yeah, because his contract monster was destroyed.
And it was the same as Ryuki when he first gets his...
Before getting the contract, right?
Before getting the contract. So that's why he's really weak, and Fem destroys the belt, he disappears.
And a detail that you mentioned,
yes,
and that I really liked as well, Kamen Rider Oja, dead.
Yes. 5 left. 5 Kamen Riders.
That was very atmospheric, yeah, it was nice to see it that way.
And the contrast between like the sound, because I don't think music plays every time it appears, but they make a point to have a kind of ambient.
No, yes, it was well put together, the movie in general.
Just the font and everything, yeah.
The effect, the fading effect, I really like. From the stuff from the shoulder.
I like that because it's really creepy.
Yeah.
They're screaming and it's...
Yeah, it's scary to watch as well.
Because it's like all of their particles are basically in their skin and whatever are just unsolving. Not the way I would like to go.
No, of course not.
If I was going to get killed by one of these Kamen Rider monsters, that one is probably the bottom of my list of wants.
I wonder if it's painful to disappear like that, because he was...
Everyone screams.
Yeah.
Usually.
Next we have Zolda, Kamen Rider Zolda.
What happens to him?
Very interesting question you ask. He actually... And at a very interesting turn that the series took, he decides to drop out of the fight.
Yeah.
He just put... You know, he was given the ultimatum by Kanzaki. He said... You know, Goro-chan, because he's always with Goro-chan.
Goro-chan.
You know, Goro-chan, I think I'm going to just live the rest of my life enjoying myself. And he just throws the deck and asks the girl at the original for the 38th time. And that's a detail that I explained to Tom just a moment ago.
42nd time.
maybe it was the 38th time. And she tells him, this is the 38th time that you have asked me out. No, it's actually the 42nd. Now, 42, it's a very significant number. It's actually avoided in some circumstances which require numbers, because 42 is right for 2, of course. 4 is yon, or in Japanese, she.
It's the old way of saying 4, isn't it? She.
Mm-hmm. So she, and this she, ni, shinu, she. It's a very a number associated entirely with death. So I'm not sure if it was done on purpose to show that Zolder had embraced his own death, his destiny, knowing that he would die, because you see him coughing up blood and just hiding it from Goro. And decided, well, if death is in my path, then I'd rather go my way than just fighting, losing fight for it. And it says, Kamen Rider Zolder drops out. 4 left.
I was sad to see him go, but I'd rather be happy.
I prefer that ending than the actual ending that he made.
Where he just dies.
Yeah.
And you don't, he dies off camera.
Exactly.
You just kind of see him on the bed or whatever.
It's
like,
not, yeah. I think it's much better. It's.
I like the twist that it's Goro in the final fight, not actually him. But I mean, it sucks for him either way.
It's still sad, but it's a very higher note to go like that than to.
Yeah. Can you imagine if they do that in Heisei Rider nowadays? A character dies and they just what's that thing? They just die and never come back.
Well, Ghost tried to do it, and the results were not that. They almost did it with. Well, no, let's not talk about it. There's another chance for that. There's a podcast about it.
We've got about 20 movies before we get to those.
So let's just move on.
I think optimistically there's 20 movies to go.
We will do it. Thanks to your support. Let me just give you chance. Thank you for watching and for subscribing, for keeping it up. It's thanks to you that we can do this. Seriously, there isn't but the preference that we have had, and well, we would like it to continue just sharing this with you, doing enjoyable videos. So like, comment, and subscribe, and let's continue with the conversation.
And so, our favourite new rider, Femme, dies. She gets killed by Ryuga. Which is sad for many reasons, because she thought that Ryuga was Ryuki, just in some kind of black form or something.
Yeah, he broke her heart first, which was not nice.
It was pretty harsh way to go, because he gets her in the mouth.
And
yeah, nobody really ends this out of this movie.
Yeah, well, no. It's a very bleak series in general. Especially because the conflict is just among them. The mirror monsters are there, but the drama is the fight between them and what happens between them.
Yes, whereas as we talked about Project G4, where there wasn't really a villain, but there were kind of monsters in it that they fought. In this, they're all the villain, kind of. Like, they had a lot more personal inner conflict.
Yeah.
Better than G4.
But then, well, she gets, thrown around like a rag doll. It's very interesting because, I mean, this short time you see this character and she dies, and you are really invested in her.
Yes, I read in an interview with her that she's done plenty of shows and movies. She went on to be quite famous.
Yeah.
And even now, when people, like, she meets with fans and stuff, she's like, always Kamen Rider fans. And they've always got, like, the Kamen Rider Femme figure arts toy or something that they wanted to sign.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, done so much other stuff, but always Kamen Rider. She was like, I did one movie. One movie, that was it.
But he was a great character, and he was significant because it was officially, there is room to discuss that, but officially first Kamen Rider, female Kamen Rider. And it was in a good movie, so.
Very true. And so we get to the climax where Ryuga and Ryuki become one. Ryuga takes over. It's getting a bit weird. A little bit. I don't particularly... I felt like that bit got a little bit bad in a way.
You don't get explained what Ryuga, I mean, that mirror Shinji is about.
I think
it
he
just comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, he just wanted to be alive, but maybe if they had a little bit more dialogue. I liked that when he did break out free, and then him and Ryuki had a fight. It was very small scale, which is odd for a climax of a movie. But I really liked it, how small it was.
It's weird. Well, it was very, very small scale, just like you called it.
It's very good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, fight choreography was nice. The way it looked,
very much
nice
execution.
It's just it felt like two kind of the same person having a fight. Upon rewatching, I thought when Yui turns 20, which is sort of the legal age of smoking and drinking in Japan,
when you come of age, let's say. Very round number.
It's not like 18 in the UK or
18 as well in Mexico.
In Mexico, she's gonna die. Now, when I watched it originally, I thought that she just died. The Rider War ran out of time and she died. Rewatching it, there's kind of a shot of showing her hand and blood.
Yeah.
Now, I've talked to other people and they said, "Oh, she just died." And she does she has the birthday cake, she invites the brother, and she says that she doesn't want any more people to die to the Rider War, blah, blah, this is all my fault, and kind of blames herself. So, rewatching it a few months ago, I thought, did she slit her own wrists?
That's a question that really upset me, because it is very possible that she ended it. Because seeing how it progressed when her birthday was coming near...
Yeah.
Talking to her brother about that, my birthday is coming near.
Because it wasn't like the clocks went 12 and then it was her birthday. She was telling her brother, she was talking to him normally, getting sort of weaker and weaker. And
it's like she was not dreading the moment that she would, even if this whole mess that her brother created in order to save her life.
So many people have died, monsters running amok.
It reminded me just how much of a good character Yui is. I mean, as a...
Yeah, like in the show, sort of towards the end, she's a bit more interesting. Maybe at the beginning.
It's a bit of a damsel in distress.
Yeah, she's sort of Miranda's in the middle a little bit. But in this, she's like really important.
Well, it's a very strong moral compass. And moral compass not only for Shinji or for even Knight, but in general for the story. Is much about what Yui, because Yui's at the center of the conflict, at the exact center. She's the center of the conflict. So her choice and how she sees things is it has an impact in how everybody else reacts to it. So her knowing, having the knowledge that she's going to take someone else's life to leave herself, because she realizes the more her birthday approaches, she starts having these flashbacks.
Yeah, she remembers that she drew the pictures of the monsters.
She digs out the box with the mirror shards and the monsters.
Very obviously emotionally broken about it, and so she chooses at the end, I'm gonna do it. Which is how I think about it. But other people I've spoken to are like, no, she just died.
But how she?
But there was a shot. There was blood. It wasn't like she's gonna die from somewhere else. But it's in a way, so it's perfectly what I would expect of him to write the way up. And then she dies, and the brother is just there, and he screams, and it's like the windows break, and like everything kind of shakes. Again, really good cinematography in this movie.
Agito and episode final. There's are different movies, even though they were written by the same person and directed by the same person, Tozaki Ryuta. But I don't know, maybe it was the source material or the actors, I don't know, but it was a very different impression what I had from Ryuki.
Ryuga dies, and then pretty much left open that Knight and Ryuki and the rest of the world dies.
Well, Knight pulls a Sasuke on Shinji.
Is that a Naruto reference?
Yes.
Oh, fucking watch Naruto.
Our viewers are going to understand. You know, I mean, explain to Tom in the comments what is pulling a Sasuke. You will understand. You watch the movie, you watch it. Well, let me explain to you. He called him a friend for the first time. If I've ever had a friend, it was you, Shinji. What was a bit uncomfortable about it was that Yui's body was there all the time.
She was in the back, wasn't she? Yeah. Not my friend.
It was a bit uncomfortable, but well, I mean, but at the same time, I'm not sure if it was bad. But they were a bit, what we mentioned before, that suicide attack against the dragonfly mirror monsters. I'm not sure if they were just letting go of the battle and giving in to the circumstance.
See, that's one thing I wanted to bring up. Do you think they were both like, let's just give it up, we've got to go save the world because all these monsters are now? Or they were saying, we'll deal with this and then afterwards we'll have our one-to-one?
Neither.
But there was no more time looping. They couldn't go back again and restart this. And that's pretty messed up, isn't it?
Exactly, it's a very nihilist way of ending it.
Shinji says, you know, don't die, Ren.
That's all he could ask.
That's the last line in the movie.
Yes.
And then they turn into survive mode.
But the thing is, see, survive mode. It's very well put together. All this. It's very much about life and death. And Knight told him, I think you're the only person that I would call a friend. But this is what I am. It was not about the wish anymore. This is the existence that I have. This is the way we communicate, by fighting. So let's just have the fight. And then to that again, the polar opposite of life and death. Death says that, and life, represented by Shinji, says, okay. He says, yes, I will fight you, but don't die on me. And then they are going to face the swarm of dragonflies, without knowing if they will make it or not.
In survive mode.
In survive mode, which is, so are they going to survive or not? So I just think it leaves it open to discussion very nicely.
They're called survive mode because the things about living, dying, surviving, right of war. It's pretty bleak ending. The ending credits, I like the remix of the song Alive Alive.
I prefer the original version, but yeah, it was a good mix.
Just for a movie, it just like cuts away. And it's just the one shot, and it's just pulling back of all of swarming around. And
it's an open ending. It's bleak, but it doesn't have a bad aftertaste. I'm not sure if
I don't want to know what happens afterwards.
Me neither.
I'm happy.
Yes.
How that ended.
Yes.
I'm actually just very happy with the movie.
Yes.
To be honest, I'm pretty.
It's a thumbs up movie.
I would definitely tell people to go and rewatch this. Give them a chance.
Most definitely, yes. It's a very enjoyable movie, despite of all the time it's passed.
If you haven't seen Ryuki before, why are you watching this video? You can just watch it. It doesn't spoil anything of the TV show. We've spoiled more about the TV show in this video than the movie has done. Let us know what you think about it.
We would like to see. We really want to see the comments. We saw the comments for the final form of O's, which is Putotira. Anyway, we really liked seeing people engaged in conversation, and I learned a lot. Many of the ideas and the comments and the arguments that people had made me think.
So leave a comment below, because we do like reading them, and I actually do read all of them.
Me too.
And I take all notes into consideration when making more videos. So please subscribe if you haven't. And next time...
Sorry.
I'm on this side, it's by me.
Maybe we're in the mirror world. Everything's...
I bloody hope not, because I took ages doing the sign. It'd be a real shame if it was the other way around.
If not, just flip it. There are options in your software to do that, maybe. Like, comment, and subscribe.
Please like, comment, subscribe.
Thank you very much for watching.
Please comment on how much you like my sign that I made for today. It took 15 minutes.